Has everybody in this room heard of Donald Trump by now? One of his more recent media scandals included his proposed budget, which outlined cuts to certain programs like Meals on Wheels. My service learning experience allowed me to figure out what exactly that was and see who it would have affected. Arkansas would take a big hit because we're ranked #1 in senior hunger. Some of you may have grandparents that visit senior centers during the day or benefit from the Meals on Wheels program. My name is Hannah Ray. I'm a UALR speech student, and I've volunteered with seniors several times. Today I'm going to tell you about my service learning experience. First, I'll tell you about my volunteering experience at CareLink and connect that experience to communication concepts that I've learned about in this class. Finally, I'll talk about how I can improve my communication. First, let me tell you about what I did when I volunteered. I've completed my service at a senior center called CareLink. If you have grandparents that utilize senior centers, there's a good chance they go to a CareLink facility. The mission of this organization is, according to carelink.org, is to connect older people and their families with resources to meet the opportunities and challenges of aging. The people I worked with were, I met a woman named Sharon. She's oversaw everything, and she basically saw everyone as her family there, and she was really passionate about it. Of course, I got to hang out with the seniors, and they were a pretty mixed bag, but they were all polite and inviting, and male, female, different ethnicities, varying ages, like 50 to 80. They all had amazing senses of humor, and I was best friends with a couple of ladies by the time I left. I was expecting like a nursing home type facility or a very dismal place, but it was actually quite the opposite. The first thing you smell when you walk in is chlorine, because they have a pool for workouts, and they were even doing an aquatic Zumba dance class when I went in. And the tasks I did were I delivered Meals on Wheels, I played beanbag baseball, and I helped out to serve birthday cake. I was able to support CareLink's mission by providing companionship, helping seniors get food, and playing a game with them to bring them joy. Next, I'll talk about concepts I've learned in this class and how they can be connected to my volunteer experience. At some point in life, everyone will have to interact with seniors, so there are many misconceptions about them, so you can use certain communication concepts from this class that when you interact with the aging population. This appreciation, the definition according to Elaine, Abigail, and Gooch 2014, is a communication that conveys gratefulness and thankfulness for our relational partner and the relationship itself. An example from my service that illustrates this concept is that one of the ladies I delivered meals to was so kind and thanked me profusely for helping with the delivery. And this conveys appreciation because she was grateful, and she made me feel good about our interaction and made me feel even better about helping there. And then next, I used emphatic listening. The definition according to Elaine, Abigail, and Gooch 2014, emphatic listening is a listening style in which we listen to understand and experience the feelings of a conversational partner. There was a woman there that started telling me how similar I am to her daughter, and I could tell this topic made her emotional, so I gave her my full attention, and she started just basically telling me her life story, which kind of made me uncomfortable, but I just tried to put myself in her shoes and show her that I felt her pain. And then also, communication behaviors are learnable. The definition of this, according to the UALR Survival Guide 2017, is that you can learn to communicate in particular ways that will positively or negatively impact a situation. An example from my service that illustrates this is that at first I didn't really know how to interact with them, even though seniors are just like you and me, but basically I just watched the employees to see how they interacted with them and tried to imitate them. And I was making a big deal out of nothing. There's no special way to communicate with older people, but I still learn from observing others. My example illustrates the principle because I observed someone to learn how to interact with people and adjusted my behavior accordingly. Next, I'll talk about how I can improve my communication. Even if you're a great communicator, there are ways we can all improve our skills. And have open-mindedness, which the definition according to Lane Abigail and Beach 2014 is approaching something without a mindset in which you are searching for flaws. I chose this concept because I was way too stereotypical of elderly people, even though I volunteered with them before. They're not fragile or gentle, they're not gonna break, they're just like you and me. And I can use this concept to improve my communication by trying to go into situations without preconceived notions. And then the next concept is respect, which the definition according to UALR Survival Guide 2017 is actively listening to and showing regard for the ideas of others before evaluating and responding to their messages. I chose this implication based on my service experience because we live in a time where every single age group, race, or other demographic is stereotyped and generalized, and I think elderly people deserve way more respect, and we're all going to become one day. So I can use this implication to improve my community by obviously practicing respect, speaking kindly of elderly people, and not reducing an entire age group to funny commercials or jokes on social media. So I'm about to wrap up. Today I told you about my learning experience. I spoke about caroling, explained communication concepts that relate to my experience, and then discussed ways I could do better. I recommend that everyone volunteer at a senior center at some point because this group is highly stigmatized and we're all eventually going to become one, so we can be the generation that pays more respect to this group of people.